more vart over here from the Chofetz Chaim. Such a fluffy Chofetz Chaim. Sometimes the Chofetz Chaim it's fluffy, it's nice. And I think it talks to all of us in the world of skulos, in the world of brachos. Chofetz Chaim. What's the Chofetz Chaim? We know Yosef comes over to Yaakov Avinu with Menashe and Ephraim, and he sets them up, right hand for the Bachar, left hand for the next one. Menashe is the Bachar, Ephraim is not. So Yosef sets them up in that way. Es Ephraim biminoi mismol Yisrael. That Yosef brings Ephraim to be on the left of Yaakov, and Menashe to be on the right. And we all know, what did Yaakov Avinu do? Yaakov Avinu switches his hands. And the question is, what's going on here? Why? He's the Bachar. And Rabbi Yerucham starts off and he explains that Yosef is bringing his children to get a bracha. So let's picture this, we're going to Rav Chaim Kanievsky, we're going to Rav Gershon Edelstein, we're going to Yitzchak Zilberstein. We're going with the kinder to get a bracha, and to make it more dramatic, let's realize, Yaakov Avinu, this is Soif Yamav, this is the end of his days. Imagine, Rav Elyashiv is sitting there on his deathbed with moments left of his life, and you got that final visit, you get to bring in your kids for that final bracha. We know the brachas are incredible. Imagine the brachas mamish, one moment before his patir of Yaakov Avinu, the bechir of the avos. He's chakuk, he's engraved on the kisei hakavod, Yaakov Avinu. So Yosef brings his two kids, and the two children who we know are our role models in Golus. How we bless our children, whether we say the bracha every Friday night or not, is irrelevant, but the bracha that we give to our kids is to be Yisimcha Leikim Ke'Ephraim u'Menashe. Just, if you think about it, it really hits you, because they're not the Shvatim. They're like, why? And the answer we all know is simple, because they were the lesson for Galus. They lived through Galus, and that is even more meaningful than the Shvatim themselves. But Yaakov Avinu dropped the ball, if we were to ask that question, says Rav Yerucham. What did he do? He didn't give the Bachar the bracha. Says Rav Yerucham, and explains the Chofetz Chaim as well. You know what we see over here? We see over here that when we go to a tzaddik to get a bracha, you know what we think? In the wonderful words of Rav Yerucham and the Chofetz Chaim, we think that Vada Yeshlei Kufsa Malaya brachos. The tzaddik has a big bag of brachos. And we say, Rabbi, I need a bracha. And what do we want? We want Rav Chaim to dig deep and give it to us. And he says, Buhan, we want to push him. No, say Bekarov, say Manhish, say Shidduch, say, we want it. Give us from your bag of tricks. Says Yerucham, Loikeinu Adavar. That's not the way that it works. Gam lebrachos yish mahalich v'seder. There's a mahalich for a bracha. Every bracha that comes out of the mouth of a tzaddik is a form of ruach HaKodesh that Hashem puts into the tzaddik's mouth to give to that particular person in that situation. And therefore, Yaakov Avinu is the conduit. It's impossible for a Yaakov Avinu to give Menashe, the Bachar, his right hand. Because Menashe, the Bachar, was fitting for his left hand. And Ephraim, the second oldest, was fitting for his right hand. At some level, the greater bracha. That's what Yaakov Avinu is being the conduit to give to Ephraim. Because a bracha of a tzaddik is not whatever he just decides. It's that much greater. It's literally, he's taking the Shekhinah and he's giving it over. So Yaakov Avinu switches his hands because that's what he just felt he had to do. And sometimes you hear stories, and sometimes the Gedolim explain to us, it's not like, I don't even know why I said it, right? I think we've heard many stories when the Gadol will say something, I'll ask him, I'll be like, I don't know, that's just what I felt. And then months later, or even years later, it will come out that his words were true and such. Doesn't necessarily mean the Gadol even knows. So Yaakov Avinu, that's what he had to do over here. He felt this is what Ephraim needed, this is what Menashe needed. Ephraim needed the greater bracha, Menashe needed the lesser bracha. Every person has his unique, tailor-made bracha. So it comes on the Chofetz Chaim. And the Chofetz Chaim says, people come to me to ask me for brachas. Come to me to ask for brachas. And he says, Mari Davram, what do they want from me? What do they want from me? Chofetz Chaim, they want your beautiful, pure, golden tongue to just say. So utilizing the words of Rav Yerucham, says the Chofetz Chaim, it's not up to me. And he says even more, you want a bracha? You know what you want? Ma ba matem etzli. You know what he says? Chofetz Chaim doesn't want not to give something to someone. You know what he wants? He says, the Chofetz Chaim, Ma rabu abrachas lilmoi perach echad b'mishnayis. You want a bracha? The Torah is the greatest bracha. And he would tell people, go learn Mishnah, go learn this. And it's not that Chofetz Chaim didn't want. It's that he realized that for this person and this situation, the makar of all bracha was the Torah. And he says some stories over here. Incredible stories that Chofetz Chaim used to say in a certain Yid's house when he went traveling. Rav David Zev Halevi Levin. And this incredible Eirech, this incredible Baal Chesed didn't have, was a big Talmud Chacham, but he didn't have children. He didn't have children. So he asked the Chofetz Chaim for a bracha. So imagine, the Chofetz Chaim staying in your house. And as the Chofetz Chaim he leaves, he said, Chofetz Chaim, you notice that the house is pretty empty. It's because I don't have children. And unfortunately, I've been married for many, many years. Chofetz Chaim, can I have a bracha? What does the Chofetz Chaim answer? Almost a chutzpah to say. He says, Chofetz Chaim, I'm not giving you a bracha. You want children? Okay. Open a gemach. But he says, you know what gemach you should open? A gemach of Torah. That's what he told him. How do you open a gemach of Torah? He says, you have money, open. It sounded like it wasn't a yeshiva, it was like a beis medrash with svarim. It's known in the Chofetz Chaim, there's no money in Radin, so svarim were very scarce. So he said, open up a beis medrash with svarim and encourage the Talmidei Chacham to come and learn. So this Rav David Zev Levin believed in this quote-unquote bracha of the Chofetz Chaim. So what did he do? He went and he spent money. And he built this building, and he built in this Svarim, and he called it Avas Chesed, and believe it or not, what happens? He has 3 beautiful children. Because the makar of all bracha is the Torah that is within. Of course, when the tzaddik says it, a Chofetz Chaim, a Yerucham, or any of our Gedolim, of course, when they say something, they are saying it with Ruach HaKodesh. So lesson number 1, we take from Yaakov Avinu, that he switched his hands. It wasn't that he liked one more than the others, that was he felt al yidei his Ruach HaKodesh. But lesson number 2, says the Chofetz Chaim, we have to reorient ourselves with brachas. And of course, we're not saying not to get brachas. Get brachas. Get brachas. I was at a chasana this past week, and I told someone, Rabbi Yemon, Moshe Brown was there. I said, go ask him for a bracha. He said, I can't ask him for a bracha. He's going to yell at me. I said, okay, let him yell at you, but get a bracha. Get a bracha. I was just at a chasana, Reuven Feinstein. Ask for a bracha. Ask for a bracha. What a tzaddik says, Kadosh Baruch Hu is mekayim. They're a conduit of the Shechina, but realize that's what they are. They're the conduit. It's important to recognize. Sometimes we get confused. And we get mistaken, and we start thinking that, similarly when you go daven at a kever, sometimes you're davening, no, you don't daven to the kever. We don't daven to the tzaddik. That's other religions. We daven to Hashem. We ask a tzaddik, we ask a gadol to be a melitz yosher for us, to beseech the heavenly throne on our behalf, because of course tzaddikim are being enemies of Shechina, and they're close to the Shechina, of course. But we have to listen to the Chofetz Chaim and just think about it. Sometimes you have to wonder, yes, we'll spend hours and days going for a bracha here, and maybe even we'll spend tons of money for a bracha, and continue doing it if you could. But let's utilize the same energy. Let's heed the words of the Chofetz Chaim. There's no greater bracha. The makar of all bracha, he writes. He says, brachas aren't found in kufsa'ot shel tzadikim. They're not found in boxes of the tzadikim. Rather, they're found within the Torah. So utilize that, and who's to know? Maybe that's exactly what we need. And maybe whatever we're looking for, whatever Yeshua, whatever success we need, yes, get the bracha from the tzaddik, but also, you know what? Learn an extra Mishnah. Learn an extra daf Gemara. Learn an extra 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Say an extra kapitel Tehillim. What's included in the words of David HaMelech. David HaMelech put into his words for all eternity. B'siyata d'shmaya, number 1. We will be able to be more connected to our Gedolim, to our Rabbanim, to our Rabbeim, to our Tzaddikim, as we realize that they are literally the conduit of the Shechina, that if the Gadol wants to put his hands like this, he can't put them like this. It's just the way it happens. And number 2, we'll realize the makar of all bracha is the Torah of Asher Yeli. Every time he's pressed for a bracha, he says, Kol ha-bracha is like Suvas b'Torah shbi mekayim. And the Chaver would push him, Rabbi, a bracha for a shidduch, a bracha for this. Again, Kol ha-bracha is like Suvas b'Torah. Sometimes someone asked, I said, Rabbi, he said, what do you mean? I told you, I gave you the bracha. You don't believe the bracha is in the Torah? So then, stop. Then get out of here. What do you want? Kol ha-bracha is like Suvas b'Torah. Hopefully we'll be able to utilize it and be zeicha l'kach shkoyach.